All right, let's talk about President Trump's economic agenda, crypto regulation, the Fed, and more. With us now, to our delight, House Speaker Mike Johnson. Mr. Speaker, thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Glad to be with you, as always.
I don't think we've talked since the, it's the OBBB. I can't explain it every time, but I don't think we've talked to you since the OBBB. I don't know whether you saw earlier, I had to laugh because we had President Obama's HUD secretary on, Sean Donovan, who is, in charge of a 501(c) now to try to help with the affordability crisis in housing and the shortage of housing. And he was like singing the praises of one of the provisions in the OBBB. And I said, you're a Democrat and you're saying some really positive things about the low-income housing tax credit provision in the new bill. It expanded it. And he goes, well, that was a bipartisan move. And I go, there were 0 Democrats. What does that mean? It was bipartisan. But he couldn't help himself. He said that's the answer, not freezing rent, like the candidates in New York for the mayoral race are talking about. But what's in the bill? Why did you tell people that was in there, Mr. Speaker, or the media just doesn't say what's in there?
Well, the reason we named it the One Big Beautiful Bill is because there's so much in it for everyone. And I'm delighted to hear the former HUD Secretary sing the praises of the bill. There are a lot of praises to sing, and everyone will be singing that tune. And certainly the voters will when we come to the midterms in 2026. And the reason for that is because we wrote this bill for the lower and middle class earners in America. We're the working class party, the Republican Party is, and we delivered for them. And it's important to point out all the Democrats in Congress voted against all those great provisions. You're talking about historic tax cuts, historic savings at the same time. But what it means for the typical family in America, an additional average $13,000 in their pocket at the end of the year in take-home pay. You're talking about the child tax credit. 91% of Americans will benefit from the increase that we did there. Seniors got tax relief. No tax on tips and overtime and things that they're really going to mean a lot to people. And it's going to be jet fuel to the U.S. economy. You're beginning to see just the enthusiasm that the passage of the bill has sparked. This is the beginning of a great run for America. President Trump called me early this morning. We were doing a victory lap together on the phone about the passage of the rescission bill late here last night. And he said, Mike, we're just winning. We're going to continue to win. This is a great moment for America. I said, sir, it's historic, and there's much more to come.
You've said many, many times that it is what it is. The margin you have in the House, what the Republicans have in the Senate. $9 billion, was that hard? And for some of the other, what was the 9-hour, whatever that was?
I called
it a kabuki dance. But so what do the guys that are holding out, do they eventually get something for their own districts? Or what's going on? It's making sausage, but can you explain? I don't know how you deal with it, your patients, but what do they want? What's it all about? I mean, if they're going to eventually do it, why is it so hard?
Well, I wish I could answer that question. Some people just have a lot to emote about before they finally vote. And when you have a margin as small as we do, both Leader Thune in the Senate and I in the House, we have a 3-vote margin in each chamber. And so we have to allow that process to play out. And sometimes it takes longer. I mean, I sit in rooms late at night with small subgroups of members who are working through all their questions and concerns. And I try to convince everybody here every day we're almost never going to get 100% of what we want individually in a piece of legislation. This is a deliberative body. We have, hundreds of colleagues here. No one gets everything they want, but the objective here, as the founders designed it, is to work through this deliberative process, build consensus, and present the greatest possible product for the American people, for the most people, for the most good. And that's what we do here. And people say you're pulling rabbits out of hats. These are magic tricks. It's really not. I mean, what I wanted everybody to know about the One Big Beautiful Bill is it wasn't a magic trick. This was, I think it was Vince Lombardi that said, victory loves preparation. We prepared for that outcome a year and a half before we crossed the goal line. I mean, we deliberately, methodically developed the playbook, put together all the pieces of the reconciliation package, countless hours of deliberation, negotiation, conversation. That led to that ultimate goal. We kept our eye on that goal line, and we delivered it before, by the way, before our self-imposed deadline. And we were able to give it to the president to sign on Independence Day. You can't write it more beautifully than that.